Hey friends, Sheree here. Welcome back to the channel, Gardening at Home with Sheree. Well, it is a beautiful and comparatively cool morning here in Minnesota Zone 4. And we are going to start harvest. It's Tuesday, July 21st. And I'm going to start off the morning with a harvest. I'm going to kick off another weekly vlog. A lot of things that I want to do this week in the garden. We'll see how effective I can be, how much time I can spend out here. Let's do just a quick scan. You can see the green stalk. You can see the peppers are growing back in nicely on the green stalk. Lots of fruiting happening. And so I am supposed to be saving the peppers on here to ripen to red, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do every other plant. I want my food, y'all. It's like I wait so long to be able to grow my food outdoors, and then the season is so short. I just want to get my food. This is the planter that I'm supposed to be harvesting the yellow peppers from, but it doesn't get quite as much light. The plants are starting to put on flowers though. So we'll see what I decide to do. It depends on what else I find. After the week of heat, and wildfire smoke and all kinds of things, I'm gonna get in here and clean up the peas and harvest. As a part of the maintenance is to get in here and trellis a lot of these vining crops back onto the fence because they have spilled down into my potato bed, and I don't want to miss any of my fruit getting mixed up into the potatoes. So that'll be one of the maintenance things. I did see a cucumber up in here when I was watering yesterday and did not have a chance to come and get it, so I'm gonna get that. Let's get that. Down way low on the ground, so we want to get that. Look at that. Pretty sure this is one of my pickling varieties, but I'll have to see where that vine is coming from. She's gonna get eaten now. Watermelon vine here is growing up nicely. I think that's a watermelon. You can see there, I have two big beefsteak tomatoes that I'm going to go ahead and get. I normally, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll get one. I normally like for my tomatoes to ripen on the vine. But to be honest, I never get beefsteak tomatoes this early. And so finally this year, it seems like I got the timing and the transplanting and the protecting right. That this is happening. I'm so excited. And it's just like I want to make sure that I get one indoors. I'll let it finish ripening indoors, and I'll leave the other one out here. While I was trellising up, not this one but the other one, I knocked some green ones off. You should have seen that in my last video. And so they had not started blushing. They're gonna stay green, so I'm gonna use those as green tomatoes. But now that this one is blushing, that should finish ripening and turn red. So we'll see if it's a red variety. It might be an orange variety. I gotta look at the tag. And I'm also gonna harvest any red cherry tomatoes that I see, because now I have that cucumber. And again, in here I'll get all the peas. But after that week, see, I missed this one for a day, and it got the peas in the pod, y'all. Look at how cute that is. So I'll go through, get, anything that is red as far as tomatoes go. I don't need any peppers today, but if I see any low to the ground, I'll grab those. My timing with my lettuce was a little off. It's not quite as ready as it needs to be. I wasn't expecting the tomatoes to come so quickly. I was hoping by next week, but that's fine because I have some leafy greens in the lower garden that I can use to make a salad. In there, that's the other tomato. Maybe I get that tomato because that looks more red already. This plant is loaded with big tomatoes. Then I cleared this area out, especially after removing a lot of those potato pots that you saw in the last video and harvesting those. And so what I revealed is that these intermediate day onions are definitely ready. They didn't grow, you know, as well as my long day ones as big. I have no idea what the varieties are because it was just a mixture of intermediate day onions. But I'm just gonna get them all out of here and put some something else in here. I did look at the tag, and these are big Bertha bell peppers, so I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest those, even though they're not as big as they can get. But I'm going to go ahead and get those early in the season, get this bed reset, fertilized, and then hopefully I can get a lot of big Berthas going that'll be ready to harvest at the end of the season. And especially again now this whole area is open more up. Things were really smothered by a weed that was in there, and then all the potato vines that were kind of laying on top of the bed. These banana pepper plants in here have put on more, so maybe I'll go ahead and get a few banana peppers from in here and go ahead and leave those other ones alone. And I'll check these tags because I think, these are bell peppers, not jalapenos. So I might again go ahead and harvest those. I'll check all those pepper plants. Now that they're taller, again, get this fertilized and hope that they will pump out a bunch more flowers and fruit that I can let grow and be ready for some of my preserving that I want to do later in the season. I'm gonna come back in the afternoon, early evening, and search for beans. I picked the beans down pretty good, as you saw in that last video. I think the plants probably need some time to rest after the heat. Yeah, I can see they're starting to set more flowers. So I'll just see what's there so that if anything is there, they don't get, you know, too big. Yeah, like these. I don't want that to get like big and tough and start to, you know, go to the dry bean seed stage. And so yeah, we'll just see what we get from there. All right, let me get my bowl. We'll start with that and see what I get. Then I have a lot of things to do down in the lower garden. So yeah, up in here, I'm gonna just get more of those beans. All right. Okay, so here's what I got so far. Like I said, I gotta go down to the main garden, and I definitely gotta get some zucchini. And I'm not sure if I got out all the onions from that short day onion mix. So I'm just gonna inspect that whole area very carefully. I really should do another big harvest of the different mints that have completely overgrown there, especially because there's one side still that I have not pulled and cut back for a second time, because I do want to put a lot of things in that space to grow up. So, but I might have to save that for the weekend or next week. I got a lot of business work to do. But I'm gonna weigh most of these things all together, but I am gonna get that. I'm gonna get the weight on the tomato by itself. Let's make sure this zeroed. So that's a 7.4 ounce tomato. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna put the bell peppers together, really just for my curiosity and my record. That's 8 ounces for these 3 bell peppers. Let's do the cucumber. 3.8 ounces. I cannot wait to make this salad tonight. I love this large cherry tomato. I'm gonna put that in. So I have a couple of pots with just a regular cherry tomato, and then I think I have 2 pots with the large cherry tomato. So those are 4.6 ounces. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw the rest of it in there. Again, this is just me out of curiosity. I don't weigh everything. I'm trying to weigh more just to put in my journal log, just to see, you know, for myself, how much food I'm getting out. Now this is all the lightweight stuff. The big numbers come with the winter squash and stuff like that. So hopefully I will have the success that I want with those. We haven't even talked about or looked at any of those yet, but we'll do that when they're actually harvestable. But there's that total weight with the cherry tomatoes and the beans, peas, the one little banana pepper, 11.7 ounces. And let's just see what these few intermediate day onions are bringing in. I'm gonna get the rest of those tomorrow. And then again, I have that space, and I'll have that space in that bed. So I'll probably put a bunch of leafy greens in to fill that space, but this is 10.4 ounces for these intermediate day onions. All right, let me, I have a couple things to do. I'm gonna get these rinsed off, get stored away, and then later on, after I get some orders shipped, I'm going to head and get what I want from the lower main garden. All right, friends, so we're gonna get up in this bed. I don't even know, I definitely planted onions here, but I don't know if I've already pulled all of them from this area or not. Up in there, I know there's still some in here, and there are definitely some down in here. These are the short day mix, and then this gets into the cipollini onions. So I think I'm gonna just harvest from here up to the corner for today, and then I'll include the cipollinis maybe as a part of tomorrow. We'll see. Or yeah, but let's just see what is hidden up in this area here. You can see the squash. This is all that mint that grew back again. I have some things here that I'm allowing to go to seed, so I need to get those propped up and get like a net bag put over those so they don't spill everywhere. And yeah, and then there's some weeding that will need to get done. I have some callaloo that has propped up in here that I want to get out. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work, and let's see how many onions we get into this container today. So here's what I got from this one little corner, and there are probably some more in there, but I have got to cut back this mint, and it basically kind of laid down, and it's just covering the soil like that, right? So I could get in there, cut that all out, cut that all back down to the ground, and I'll see if there are any more onions in there to harvest. But the short day onions didn't do too bad, considering, especially. I will definitely try more short day onions out. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get them individually, and definitely plant them out in their own beds, probably, just because it's. I mean, it's hard to compete with the mint, and typically I would have been staying on top of keeping this cut back and harvested, but with the garden expansions that I didn't plan on doing, that just totally took my time. So I just haven't been dedicating garden time to harvesting, you know, stuff that I don't really need right now. And so that's also part of the problem, why that got so big and kind of smothered those. But again, it was a test to see if they even grew how I like them. I'm really pleased with what they did in such a short amount of time. You're talking about, you know, less than 3 months of growth time. And I've been eating, I started eating on them within 60 days, good size onions. So yeah, pleased. But like I said, I have no idea what the varieties are, and that I want to know the name of what I'm growing and keep them separated. So yeah, I'm gonna get into these next 2 beds and then get into the house. Almost forgot, I'm gonna harvest these tomatoes from this. I got 2 of them. They were clearanced tomato baskets. Looked like they were in a pretty rough shape, but they were full of ripe tomatoes, so I picked them up for next to nothing. I'm gonna harvest these tomatoes and try to revive the rest of the plant so I can get more. There was way more tomatoes on there than I even noticed. This is what I got so far. And there's still lots more on this one, and I haven't even started on the second basket yet. So I'll get the rest of those in the morning because I gotta get these zucchini and cook. All right, so I got this one, and let's get the other one. They're bigger than I thought, and they're heavy. I love this. I hope to get to the point where I can get like 22 every day or two. I have my succession sowing ready also. So hopefully I can keep this variety in production all season because we really do love this one. Saturday, July 25th, 2026. This tomato is getting exposed to a lot of sun. You can see there's already some sun scald forming. So I'm gonna move things around a little bit so that I can put something here that will provide this tomato plant with some shade, because I have a lot of big tomatoes that are gonna start to ripen and I don't want them to all get sun scald. Like these in here are gonna be fine, but I don't have anything growing on the fence on the left of here that would provide this part of the plant with shade. So I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'll just lift these potatoes up and kind of lay them over the tomato plant to provide shade, or I'll bring something else in here tall that can block some of that sun. I might even go ahead and just take that tomato off. We shall see. I did not actually harvest the leeks as I said I would, but I think I might go ahead and harvest some of those, kind of thin it out and see if that ones that remain will get bigger. This is my first time growing these. I have to look back to see even what the variety is, because not all leek varieties will grow to get like real, you know, thick and fat and tall, etc. Because I almost feel like these might even be towards the end. Yeah, I'm just noticing, and they're starting to put on scapes, and so I might just harvest these. I might just sow some more leek seeds. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, but I bought leeks in bulk last fall and preserved them a bunch of different ways. It was very economical to do that, and I still have so many leeks that I can use up. So I probably will go ahead and harvest these, and then I'll put something else in this bed, because yeah, I just noticed that as I was filming that's starting to happen. So sometimes it's just it's just time to get them out of the ground. More and more of the potatoes are starting to show kind of yellowing of their leaves. I mean, some of them are still just really deep green, not showing any signs of you know, dying back, but some of them are getting quite yellow. So we'll just keep monitoring those. Those interesting, because some of the ones where they're getting quite yellow, I'm also seeing like a new growth. So I might put some more soil in some of those pots as well. So we're gonna just kind of look through, just do lots of different maintenance. I'm probably gonna grab this one big beefsteak, let the other ones get darker. This plant is looking real good. All the different cucumbers and squash are starting to set some fruit. And so I'll be excited when I get like a large enough quantity to start doing some preservation of those while still, you know, using them fresh. And I will get the rest of these intermediate day onions out of here, do some more weeding in here, get this bed resituated, put some other things in there to grow in front of these peppers. And yeah, this cucumber that we started from seed out here together was the first cucumber that I started, not the first to put on fruit, but it is putting on a lot of flowers, and I can see a lot of baby fruit forming. I have to check, but I feel like this might be a variety that should push out a lot of fruit at the same time, which would be great because, again, I want some of this for some preservation. And when you get just like one or two, I mean, it's just not enough to really do a good preservation. And so, yeah, like I said, these are, you can see some of these are squash and beans that are growing beautifully. I'm thrilled to see that these marigolds that we started from seed together a couple months ago are starting to flower. They really are going to be so pretty when all the blooms open up and they continue. Green peppers are growing nicely. I should probably do another sweet mint harvest, as well as the orange mint behind me. So again, it's just going to be a lot of harvesting throughout the week, and a lot of maintenance, doing some more succession sowing, taking care of plants like some of the bean plants. I mean, they need to be harvested because I haven't harvested any beans for a couple days, letting them kind of rejuvenate after that bigger harvest before the heat came in. We are actually about to have another round of heat come in actually this afternoon. So I'm going to do a quick water because this heat wave is going to last pretty much all week again. And it's hard to even call it a heat wave. It's just kind of our regular summer at this stage. But I'm going to go in like some of these bean plants that really got stressed out during the heat. Just going to get them all trimmed back, do another round of succession sowing if I need to, but really everything needs just a real good deep water. Yeah, and harvesting. So I'll show you what I harvest for today, and yes, I'll show you what I harvest from up here today, and then we'll also need to go down to the big main garden, check on things, see how all those tomatoes and stuff are going, and see if there's anything down there to harvest. I think down here, you know, most of my lower pockets on these 3 green stalks in here have gotten eaten up by a bunny that keeps coming in. And so I think what I'm going to do, I'm probably not going to pull the brassicas because we'll see if they rejuvenate themselves, but I think I'm going to put mint in all of these pots along with the brassicas, see if that helps keep that bunny at bay or not. I don't know. But all the different pepper plants are just getting taller, putting on more flowers now that the heat has passed. And with the heat coming back again, I just want to make sure everything is really deeply watered. I love seeing that the kohlrabi is growing in nicely. Some cayenne peppers are starting to get a little red tinge. Oh, I see a red one here. Oh, so this is great. The cayenne peppers are starting to ripen. Look at that. Awesome. I need to get all the peppers in these 2 beds staked. I need to stake up the tomatoes more because they've grown more. Cayenne peppers don't really need a stake at this stage, but I might go ahead and just put the stakes in there in case I need to start clamping things. But again, the brassicas are looking pretty decent here in the green stalk. I'm so excited to see the kohlrabis are forming. But again, I gotta keep them really deeply watered. So I've been holding off on getting these. I have 2 larger poblano peppers, but I might go ahead and grab those and enjoy those with something over the next few days because they're starting to put on a lot of flowers up at the top. So I can see I should be getting a lot of fruit off of those together, which I love. I did sow, I had to do some weeding in this bed, but I did sow some different lettuce seeds in some of the beds. Oh, let me get that Japanese beetle, hang on. So, but this lettuce is not quite big enough to harvest, but it's growing nicely, kind of in the shade of the pepper and tomato plants. And so I just need to get some weeds out of this bed. I see. Looks like the beans might start producing here soon. Added those on the edge just to get some more food growing. And this big tomato bed, I mean, these tomatoes are all doing great. This is a mix of Romas and cherries in here. And I love how well they're doing. I planted these early as a test before I planted out any tomatoes down in the regular main garden. And I mean, these tomatoes are doing amazingly well here. It's like they get just enough sun to keep them happy. Once I stake them up, I'll see how tall they are. But they really put on a lot of clusters at the same time, so I hope that they will ripen at the same time so I can do some canning. These hot peppers back here are putting on a lot of fruit, which is wonderful, growing tall, putting on flowers. And these are some nasturtium that I put over here, and a few bean seeds mixed in there. So I think, oh no, that might be a tree weed. I might have to pull that out. Cause I don't think I didn't put any beans over here. I gotta pull that out, I'm pretty sure. But the peppers, the hot peppers over here are looking good. So I'm really excited to see one of my favorite beans is flowering. This is a wall of Blauhilde beans. I love these, they're so beautiful. And then I did leave these sweet banana peppers alone for a few days, and I mean, they really got quite a bit longer. So I'm really gonna try to force myself to leave those alone and see if they start to ripen red, so I can get some real sweet ones for something that I wanna make. Hey friends, Sheree here. Well, it is Sunday, July 26th, and I have some harvesting to do. I'm also noticing some squash is growing. I love looking at these squash and beans fill up this fence line. This is one of my favorite times of the garden, when it's basically these squash and these beans kind of create a little wall. And I love how it looks. I did not get to my maintenance that I was supposed to. These are my tomato plants that have turned into a jungle. So I still need to get those staked up. So I noticed in here, I have another cucumber. I did find the tag. It's a dragon's egg cucumber. And then I see more tomatoes ripening. This is like a cocktail tomato variety. There's another cocktail tomato variety. I think I saw 2 of those ripening. And then we have more of the Sungold tomatoes ripening. The Sungold, I need to take care of these leaves, getting these discolored leaves off the plant after harvest. In general, I really gotta buckle down and get some of the maintenance done, because this is a time of year where the garden can really get away from me, because it's just, I grow so much at one time. Look at that little baby thing. And this year, every year I say this is like the biggest garden I've ever grown. And so I have so much more to keep on top of between the 2 fully planted gardens, still expanding the garden, 2 greenhouses, all the different berries and trees. And so I really gotta stick with my schedule. When I say I'm gonna come out here and do something, I gotta get it done before this gets away from me. And then I have food, snapping off when I'm trying to clamp things up. So gotta get it clamped, gotta get everything clamped and pruned before I start to break off plants. I'm gonna harvest some more of these sriracha peppers that are turning red. I have a couple recipes that I want to play around with using these ripened red as well as ripened green for comparison. So yeah, gonna get some of those. Some more on this plant down here starting to ripen red, and I might pull off a couple more green ones, so we'll see. And then I noticed back here some tomatoes are ripening, and there's some more like hidden down low within these. This is like all cherry tomato plants along here. I think like 14 different varieties. I think there's some cocktails mixed in too, but I gotta really take my time, prop up these stalks to the bamboo stakes and the fencing, and then look to see what is ripened get these plants cleaned up so it's easier to see the fruit when they're ripening as well. You see that more and more of my big tomato varieties are setting fruit, well, flowers and fruit. I think there are some bell peppers down here, some little peppers that I'm gonna harvest. I plan on doing some meal prepping either today or tomorrow, and so I will definitely get more things, including some celery for something that I want to make, and I'm gonna look for some good leaves in the callaloo. This callaloo I think is like 10 feet tall, no, maybe 8. I'm gonna have to measure it. It's so tall, y'all. It's way taller than me. But yeah, the carrot plants are still going through their life cycle to generate seeds. I do need to put an organza bag on this one to make sure that I capture the seeds as they develop. But from this plant, I mean, it put on so many flower heads. I should be getting a lot of flower seeds. And I'll look back in my video for sure if I can't find the tag down on the ground when I dig down there to see what variety. This was definitely an heirloom variety from Baker Creek Rare Seeds. So yeah, lots of little things to deal with. Lots of new food coming. I mean, the cucumbers, the squash, the beans, everything is growing along really beautifully. This is my main garden, but I set this garden up second because it holds a lot of the things that need to grow basically to the end of my season, specifically like the tomatoes that need like 120 days. They're down in here, and then I throw in other things. So it's going to be fun to start getting some of the cucumbers and other things that don't need quite as long to grow. And then especially the cherry tomatoes to join the harvest party with the hillside garden. But let me get what I'm getting down here in this main garden, and then we're going to walk up to the hillside garden to do the harvest. And then, yeah, I'm going to have to get to work. It's a hot week, so I'm trying to get some labor in every day before it gets too hot for me to work out here. Plants are growing in beautifully too. This is a new variety that the first time I'm growing it this year is so beautiful looking already. I love that my okra is growing back. These plants were getting demolished by something kept biting it earlier in the season, so I had to put this bird netting on top of it. That was the first time I've ever seen. I usually put my okra out larger and later in the season, but I've never had anything just like bite off the whole top. They were like chewing the leaves back. It was weird. So anyway, I protected it, and now that's growing back. So I have 8 okra plants in here, and they're all getting bigger, so that's fun. That's a self-seeded, what is that, nasturtium. It grew in the mulch, so I made note of that variety because I very rarely have flower seeds that aren't perennial, like over winter here. And so the nasturtium does have kind of a hard shell, I'm assuming because it was in the mulch up against the bed. It was protected well, but I definitely want to try and save seeds from that this year because it seemed to be pretty hardy. Also still have strawberries fruiting, which is so delightful. I mean, look at how beautiful they are. I'm gonna grab those now so I don't forget. Thinking about making a small flower bouquet to take inside to enjoy, including some of these red echinacea. They're just so gorgeous. I gotta get this squash today. I totally forgot to get it the other day. So we'll get that. It's bigger than I like to harvest it, but I have another one over here that looks like it's putting on some fruit. Hopefully they got pollinated. All right, I'm gonna go inside and get a container and get this food and then head up the hillside garden before I take a hydration break and get back out here and start doing some garden maintenance. All right, now I'm gonna get the tomatoes off of the second plant today. It's Sunday the 26th. And then I'm gonna take these plants to a shady part of the garden. Just get them really watered. Keep them in the shade for a little while just to kind of decrease the stress that they're getting from the heat. And I hope that they will revive. I can see lots of new growth happening here. So I think it's going to be possible to get this to push out even more fruit as we go throughout the rest of the season. So I think it's going to be well worth the $5 that I spent on this basket. Well, it already is. Okay, so here's what I got so far. I have a few small peppers in one back bed that I'm going to go get. And then I'm going to cut a few flowers. Got to get a vase for that. And then I'm going to go up to the hillside garden. I'll show you everything when we get into the kitchen. I have some watermelon in here, and I can see they're spreading all over the place. I might need to deal with that. But I did notice this pepper. I'm going to get that. And then I'll look through and see if there's any larger, low-lying green peppers. And if there are, I'll grab that too. Okay, so these 2 green bell peppers were kind of low. So I got those off so the plants can get taller and continue to flower and then fruit up higher on the plant. And I need to get this bed staked as well. All right, friends, so we made it up onto the hillside on the camera. Just do a quick scan to show you some of the stuff I'm going to harvest that I've already seen. I might see more things as I go through and inspect, but I'm definitely going to get that cucumber. That's actually on the inside of the fencing. I keep saying that I'm going to leave the sweet banana peppers alone. And I did for a few days, and a lot of them have gotten a lot bigger. But I'm getting my food, y'all. I'm getting my food. This cucumber plant has escaped. Got all those little babies on there. So I'm gonna get this back trellised up there. That'll be a part of my maintenance work. The potatoes are flopping. They just got so tall. I don't really know, what to do with them. Look at this frog hiding. Oh, they just jumped away. Part of my bug control. And then this green stalk here. I mean, I just can't leave all these peppers sitting here like this. So I'm gonna get every pepper I find that is of good size, because they just really, they need to get eaten or preserved. And I have plenty of time to allow some to go red, at the end of the season, because I do want to try one recipe, as I keep saying, where they're all red, and then I can save seeds from those red ones also. So I'm gonna get my food. Almost forgot, I'm gonna search for peas. And this green stalk, I'm gonna grab this one alone strawberry. My husband ate those 2 that I harvested from the lower garden immediately. So I might sneak and rinse this off and enjoy this one myself. Green stalk here, it has strawberries that I transplanted. And then it has mint here at the bottom that I transplanted. And then the rest of it is stuff that I started from seed. And so we gotta wait a little while longer. Like, this is a micro dwarf tomato, the orange hat. This is a gorgeous fish pepper plant that I grew from seed. I have some more of those in another container. This is the Murasaki purple pepper. This one's gotten big. This is their Sugar Rush peach. This one has gotten good size. This is the Sugar Rush peach. Looks like another seedling germinated since transplanting. So I have a second little baby plant down there. Oh, this is the pizza pepper. It's a jalapeno pepper variety. What's this here? Another Tabasco pepper. So yeah, we're gonna be waiting. So I have cucumbers. So I have cucumbers that I started from seed. Like I said, a bunch of different micro dwarf tomatoes. There are a bunch of beans in here. What micro dwarf tomatoes? There's This is the mini bell micro dwarf tomato. What's this one? Another mini bell. This looks like a cucumber. Here's a cucumber. I keep forgetting to spend these. Yep, there's another cucumber. And then this is back at the orange hat again. Yep. And so this is just where I put extra micro dwarf tomatoes, extra pepper plants, like the backups for my backups. And then I did some direct seed sowing. I don't think I released a video of setting this up yet. I think I totally forgot. But it'll get released, I think. And I know I saw like 1 or 2 green beans. I mean, not green beans, peas on these plants here. I'm gonna grab those. I saw a few more. No, I don't think there are any banana peppers out here that I'm gonna get, but we'll see. And I do see some bell peppers that have gotten good size on these tiny plants. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get these off so these plants can get taller. I just took this one. I'm gonna let the other couple get well, I'm gonna grab this second one. I'll let the other ones get bigger. All right, let's go inside the fencing now. A bunch of cherry tomatoes that I'm gonna pick. I'll look for more peas. Our first few cayenne peppers are ready. I'm gonna go through all the places where I have beans and harvest as many. I'm gonna hunt for beans, harvest as many as I find. All right, so I had to run down to the kitchen to get another plate. Look at those green beans. I think I'm gonna have to start canning some of these. Okay, so then I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna get these banana peppers. I need to stake this plant because I don't want her to get so top heavy that she snaps with all these banana peppers that she's putting out. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get, most of these banana peppers that I see. I'll leave ones that are this small. But I'm gonna get most of the larger ones as well. I gotta get some of this kale. I'm gonna get some leaves off of here. I'm gonna get some leaves off of here. I'm gonna get up in here and get some of the brassica leaves to mix in as well. And then I have to run back down to the main garden. I have some arugula down there and some Swiss chard that I'm going to get to mix into all these greens. I'm gonna get this tomato that has some sun scald on it. Let the rest of it ripen indoors. And I'm probably gonna get in here and just get this whole cluster because I feel like if I just try for the one that's the most ripened, I might just knock off the other ones anyway. I'm gonna save the rest of these intermediate day onions for tomorrow. We'll go ahead and get this bell pepper today. She was down a little low and there aren't any more flowers on that plant. So this is I'm growing this for green peppers, not to ripen to red anyway. And so hopefully she will now start, growing a bit taller and more specifically start putting on some more flowers. All right, let me get the rest of the food for today's harvest, and then I'll see you in the kitchen. All right, not bad for today, not bad for today. I'm going to put these inside and then get the other greens that I need for dinner, and then I gotta start cooking. Okay, friends, so here's everything I harvested today. It's hot, so I just rinsed off all the greens real quick. I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator until it's time to cook dinner so that they don't wilt. Let me do that real quick and we'll be back to go over everything. And I'm gonna get this weighed for my garden journal.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations, cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. Myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing else for the rest of our time. And I know it so well, I will always be by your side. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.
You know, it kind of distracts you a little bit. Oh my, look at this spider. Is that a spider? Is he upside down? It's that. Don't jump on me. I think that's a spider. I'm gonna zoom in there. Huh. He's either upside down. No, I think that's a bug upside down. That's a bug flipped upside down. I'm gonna flip it over. That is so gross. That's a squash bug. I think that's some kind of squash bug with the inside missing. The things you see in the garden. Lord. Anyway, I'm gonna grab that cucumber. And then while I was down here watering the potatoes, I saw another cucumber. This is a smooth cucumber variety. I'm pretty sure. I hope it's not one that's supposed to get long and I'm harvesting it early. It might be, but it's fine because I'm gonna get that anyway. And I'm just gonna go around and collect any tomatoes that I see as I'm walking back to get that other cucumber. And I think I'm gonna grab the hot banana peppers. I got a lot of the sweet banana peppers yesterday, and there'll be more that I'll get tomorrow. But I try to harvest the hot ones separate so I don't get them confused, because I did once and it wasn't good for me. But I'm gonna scan all the tomato plants. I'm gonna get things that are blushing as well as what's already fully ripe and red. Went on and got some parsley and basil from this bed. I think I'll get a little bit more parsley because we can use that. I'm gonna get more of each. We can use that in our salad tonight. Okay, so here's some of the hot banana peppers. Tomorrow's gonna be a maintenance day. So I'm gonna go ahead and get, you know, several of these because tomorrow I need to get these staked. These are getting pretty big. That's leaning out and I do not want that to snap. All right, so I got some hot banana peppers. And look at that kohlrabi coming in so good. I left some small ones on here at the top tier because all those plants are standing up nicely, but I will stake all of them tomorrow. Can't wait for a lot of the cayenne peppers to ripen together. Plants are loaded. They all ripen together. I can do a nice round of preservation. I'm gonna get this one here real quick and add that to what I got yesterday. I'm really gonna get that one kohlrabi. I have a bunch of kohlrabi in the green stalks planted at different stages. This looks like the biggest one that I see. I want to get it so bad, but I'm gonna leave it there and let it get a little bit bigger. But again, look at all the cayenne peppers on here. It'll be so pretty if they start to ripen together. All right, so got a couple cucumbers, some herbs, little cherry tomatoes. I found a few peas. The hot banana peppers, the cayenne, and yeah, I do need to get some stuff from down at the hillside. I mean, from down in the main garden, but I think I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, and then I gotta come back up here and harvest again from here tomorrow. There's all those sweet banana peppers that I left have grown, so I'll get those, and then I also saw some more beans, and we'll see what else I find tomorrow while I'm doing maintenance. All right, let me get inside.